Live from KSAT12, the news at noon starts right now.
And right now, coronavirus concerns. They're growing in San Antonio. This comes after the CDC confirmed that a woman tested positive for the coronavirus after being released from quarantine.
That patient was released after being tested and coming up negative twice. But the results from a third test was still pending at that time.
We have team coverage this noon, and we begin with our Jessie Degollado.
She was at the CDC's press conference this morning. Jessie, tell us, what did you learn?
Well, as a matter of fact, the CDC was not at this news conference this morning because we were told they're very busy right now with the evacuees who are still at JBSA. And as a result of what happened over the weekend, we're told that the CDC may wind up extending the quarantine for those 122 evacuees who are still at JBSA Lackland. That is still being decided as we speak. But earlier this morning, this room was filled with city and county officials who made it perfectly clear that what happened, this woman being released, should not have been released until a third test result had been received. And this is what the mayor had to say.
As mayor of this city, I find it totally unacceptable that CDC would release a patient prior to receiving all test results and potentially expose the public to this harm. Local health professionals, in whom I have the utmost confidence, are working very hard to prevent the spread of this virus here in San Antonio, and we simply cannot have a screw-up like this from our federal partners.
Well, city, county, and state officials who were here today have asked that the CDC amend its protocol to include a third set of test results before anyone like this woman is released into the community. For more about that, let's go to Devin Clark, who is live at North Star Mall.
Well, Jesse, we are seeing what we would expect to see on a Monday morning. People carrying on their normal shopping routines here at North Star Mall. You can see people going in and out of the mall. In fact, I went in there to try to get some information from the staff. They told us that they would not give us any. We do know that the woman who evacuated Wuhan, China, was being treated at the Texas Center for Infectious Disease. She tested negative twice, as we've mentioned, and was released from the facility Saturday after meeting the CDC criteria for release. She was out in the community for about 12 hours, but a third pending test came back and showed she may still be infected, and she was put back into isolation. Now, while she was out, we do know that she checked into the Holiday Inn Express at the airport and visited North Star Mall. We're not sure which hotel room she stayed in or which stores she visited while here at the mall, but this morning, city officials say that the risk of exposure to the public is low. Officials did, however, recommend a deep cleansing of the mall. Now, neither hotel or the mall chose to comment, but a mall spokesperson said that they would get back to me with further comment. The Holiday Inn said that the hotel's corporate office would be emailing a statement before the day is done. And again, that patient is back in isolation. The mayor now urging the CDC to confirm that all tests come back negative before releasing any coronavirus patients or anyone who is being quarantined, which could affect a cohort of people being quarantined right now from the Diamond Princess cruise ship. We're going to stay on top of this and bring you the latest as soon as we get more details. For now, reporting live outside of North Star Mall, Devin Clark, KSAT12 News.
Thank you very much, Devin and Jesse. Our team coverage continues online. You can find the latest on KSAT.com, including more information on the coronavirus and how it has spread to several countries. You can find it all on our homepage.
Meantime, in other news, San Antonio police looking for a man who they say used bullets and a brick to attack another man. They believe jealousy was the motive. It happened in an East Side neighborhood earlier this morning. Katrina Weber has that story from the area where they found the victim at East Houston and Walter Street.
That parking lot across the street is where police found the victim, where they say he came for help. But in a neighborhood not far from here, they found a whole other scene, evidence that that is where the attack happened. The most obvious evidence was a puddle of blood on the ground in the 2000 block of Lamar. Police say the victim was shot in the backside and beaten in the head, most likely with a brick. They say the attack was initiated by another man, someone who showed up here just before 4 this morning as the victim and a woman stood outside a home. Police believe that newcomer was jealous of what he saw and took it out on the 29-year-old man who was there. They say he pulled out a gun. Evidence markers showed several shots were fired, although only one bullet hit the victim. He and the woman then drove to a gas station and called for help. Paramedics rushed him to a hospital. Back at the scene, officers searched for the item that was used to beat him, but they didn't find it or the gun involved. The suspect also got away. Police say they were able to get the name of the suspect, so they do know who they're looking for. It's just a matter of tracking down that man. Reporting from the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT12 News.
Now to far West Bexar County, where arson continues investigating after a mobile home burned to the ground last night. Now, Sarah Costa reports this happened in the same neighborhood where 2 mobile homes were burned by an arsonist last week.
Flames so thick the mobile home that's burning can't even be seen. Bexar County firefighters say by the time they arrived at the fire on Calle Popo in far West Bexar County at 9:45 Sunday night, the flames had already taken over the home. Fire crews were able to knock out the fire within 15 minutes, but it was too late to save the structure. The home was abandoned and no one was on the property when firefighters arrived. You can see nearly 10 hours later, once the sun is up, the fire still smoldering, and what was once an abandoned structure completely flattened. The Bexar County Fire Marshal's office calling the fire suspicious and believe this was set intentionally. This after 2 abandoned mobile homes in the same neighborhood were burned down a week ago by an arsonist who has been arrested and charged. Arson investigators say even though it's still early in the investigation, they don't believe Sunday night's fire is related to the previous cases. Neighbors telling us off camera that no one had been living in the home for several years and it didn't have any running utilities. The Bexar County Fire Marshal's office continues its arson investigation. From the far west side, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT12 News.
New at noon, San Marcos police looking for a driver involved in a hit and run that left a San Antonio man dead. Police say someone called 911 Saturday night after they found a man lying on the ground in the 200 block of South Guadalupe Street. Police say they found 69-year-old Eligio Vasquez on the scene. He was not breathing. They used CPR to get his pulse back. He was taken to the hospital but later died. Now officers are looking for the driver who hit Vasquez. They believe the suspect was driving an older model red pickup with a missing wire radio antenna on the right side of the hood. The driver was last seen going south on South Guadalupe Street after the collision.
And San Antonio police and Crime Stoppers on the hunt for a pair of robbery suspects. San Antonio police say that a man and a woman stole money from a truck stop on the east side. Take a look at the pictures. The robbery happened back on February 2nd at the Flying J Travel Center in the 1800 block of North Foster Road. Police say that the suspects walked up to the cashier with a gun and demanded money. They took off with some cash. If you recognize these guys in the pictures, call Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP. A cash reward is being offered for information that leads to an arrest.
Castle Hills police still looking for 2 people following a short chase in a stolen vehicle. Police say just before 4 this morning, they saw a driver break a traffic law and ran that person's plates. The vehicle came up stolen, so police went after that driver. The short chase ended in a neighborhood near Wiseman and Blanco. 4 people got out of the car and took off running. Officers were able to catch 2 of those people. The other 2 got away. Police say all 4 of them are juveniles.
Get ready, because tomorrow is Super Tuesday, and it is the last day you're able to vote in the primary election. All polling stations will be open tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and you won't be restricted on your designated polling station. You can literally vote at any of the voting centers in Bexar County. However, don't forget to bring your important documents with you. You will not be allowed to vote without a valid photo ID or some other form of identification. If you want to find the closest polling site near you or look at a sample ballot, you can go to KSAT.com, click on the Vote 2020 tab at the top of the page.
And today is a special day in Texas history. On this day in 1836, the Texas Declaration of Independence officially adopted. And there are events at the Alamo to celebrate. There are several living history exhibits going on all day at the Alamo, and they are free for the public to attend. These demonstrations range from blacksmiths to cooking to weapons showing what life was like in the 1830s, and it's a fascinating history lesson.
While the delegates were signing the Declaration of Independence, the Alamo was being sieged by the Mexican army. So they had sent delegates to the convention, but the Alamo defenders would not know that the independence had been declared.
After Texas became independent of Mexico, we officially became a state December 29th of 1845. The living history exhibits are open until 4:30 this evening.